What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Straight Up Real Talk. This is your host once again. Before we get started on the actual show, how about you guys do me a favor, get real with me down in the comments and tell me how you like that new intro. It's a new thing I'm trying out, and I want to know. I want to know what you guys think. Get real with me. Be straight up. Don't hold back. Tell me if there's something you like about it, something you don't like about it. Does it fit the show? Is it a good intro? But yeah, do that in the comments down below. Now let's get started on the show. I have realized that it's become a more frequent thing to do hookups. And people are doing these things, and it's fine. I mean, it's great. It's great to hook up. Explore yourself. Explore your sexuality. That's great. But they do it without being safe about it. And because of that, there's incidents that lead to sexual violence. So in order to try to cut back on the sexual violence, I figured I'd do a little bit of a safety video kind of thing. And this is going to relate more towards the lifestyle, the BDSM lifestyle, than anything else. But a lot of it can still go to non-BDSM stuff. So keep that in mind. So before you guys rush off, just watch out the video and see how it goes. Uno numero. Wow, I said that wrong. Numero uno. Get tested. That is probably the biggest thing in the world. If you're talking to someone online and you guys want to hook up, go for it. But ask them to get tested. Get yourself tested as well. In this kind of a situation, have them bring the test results with them. And you bring yours. So that way you know without a doubt that those test results are true. Now, with that said, here's the thing, okay? Still bring a condom, still wear contraception, because sometimes you can get a false negative. And it would suck to get an STI because of a false negative. Here's the next one. Have a safety net. Now, what I mean by have a safety net is have a way out. Make sure that there's someone that you can get a hold of to call the cops, to come and get you, whatever it might be. The best way I like to do this is I will have a friend that will know about things beforehand. Now, I haven't done the whole hookup scene in years. I've been in a very devoted relationship for the past, let's see here, it's October, so since February, so past 8 months. And before that, I was married. So there was definitely no hookups there. But the way I would do it is I would turn around and have a friend and tell them, hey, look, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to go to this bar at first to get social with them a bit, or social with her a bit, or social with whatever a bit. And this is the address. After that, I'm going to this hotel, or I'm going to their place, or I'm going to my place, or whatever it may be, and give the address. And make sure you text them in between positions so they know at all times where you're at. On top of that, set up time frames that you are supposed to call or text them or something. Preferably text, because that would probably be a little bit better. And the key to that is let the person that you're meeting know, hey, look, no matter what we do today, every half an hour, every 45 minutes, every hour, I'm going to have to stop so I can send off a quick text so my friend knows I'm okay. Otherwise, they're going to call the cops. Now, here's the thought. People are probably thinking, well, if you tell him this or you tell her this, then they're going to know, and they can just take your phone and send a text to the person and all this other stuff. You're right, they could, which is why you need to set up a keyword that's in that text. Something that you will send every text, so something that's easy to come up in a conversation. with this person. And if that keyword's not in that text, then they know to call the cops. Now, of course, you don't want to tell the person you're meeting this either, because then they know the keyword and you're screwed. But it's okay to tell them, hey, I got to text such and such person, so they know I'm okay. It shows that you're responsible for your safety. And that's what is key about this, is you can't, whether you're a submissive or a dominant or whatever, you cannot rely on someone else for your safety. You need to make sure you're safe, especially in hookups. Now, it's a little bit easier to rely on other people for a safety net once you've been in a relationship with them and you actually know them. But for just a hookup, you really can't rely on someone else for your own safety. And that brings us to limits and safe words. Limits and safe words? Limits and safe words. Limits are something that is your limit. You won't do it. It depends on the kind of limit. You got your limits, which is, alright, this is semi-okay. I'm okay with doing it, but it's not something I really like. So, if you're doing a punishment kind of scene, that could be something they do as a punishment. Then you have your hard limits. This is stuff that you won't do under any circumstances, and they should be respected by any circumstances whatsoever. The person should not do any of this whatsoever. Now, if you're a dominant, your limits probably aren't going to be discussed as much because you're the one that's in control. So therefore, you really shouldn't be doing anything that you're not comfortable with, whether they like it or not. Now, if they say they like it, you can turn around and say, well, that's one of my hard limits, so that won't happen. But it's not really needed because you're in control. Then you have your submissive, which is probably the one that is really going to be discussing the limits. As a dominant, you need to listen to this. You need to respect them. And you need to make sure that you follow those limits. It is not okay under any circumstances to go against someone's limits. If they tell you no, the answer is no. Don't take their consent from them. If there's something that you want to do, talk to them about it. You never know. They may turn around and say, okay. And don't get one of those, okay, I guess, kind of situations going on, which I talked about in my last video. Make sure they're enthusiastic about it. Make sure that's what they want. Discuss it with them until you're blue in the face. So that way, you know you have their consent. Now with that said, let's go to safe words real quick. Safe words, I've discussed this before, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Right now my memory sucks. But safe words are words that normally will not come up during a sexual scene that you can use to stop the play. The general words are red, yellow, and green. Red being stop, yellow being, that was a little too much, can you dial it down? And green meaning I'm okay. Now green is a very key one because if you're doing things correctly, you're going to check in with the bottom every once in a while. And you're going to be like, are you okay? Everything alright? Or especially if the person makes like a noise that you weren't expecting, you need to check in. Just be like, hey, everything okay? You want me to stop? And they can say green. Good. Let's continue. Now, a lot of people think stop is a good safe word. It's not. And here's why. Inside of the BDSM world, there's a fetish called rape play. I myself, I don't know how I feel about it because I am so dead set against rape. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, oh my God, how can he bring this up? He's such anti-sexual violence. I am. I'm extremely anti-sexual violence. But the thing is, it's called rape play because that's what it is. It's a play. It's a scene. It's something that's being acted out. It's not real. And for those kinds of situations, you have two consenting adults that are saying, yes, this is okay. And that makes the fetish okay in my book, as long as there's consent there. Don't do this if it's consent, or if there's no consent. Really, I mean, use your brain. Don't turn around and sit there and say, oh, well, I thought it was okay. I thought it was just a rape play scene. You know better. Get consent before doing that kind of thing. Now, with that, the word stop is not going to be really good, because they're going to think that's part of the scene. So you're going to want to do like red or bubble gum or something that will not come up even during a rape play scene. So no, stop, please don't. Anything along those lines, really not good safe words. Last thing is aftercare. Now, not everyone needs aftercare, but in the BDSM world, some of the scenes that you go through can be very big on the psyche. And sometimes people need chocolate afterwards, or just a little snuggle, or something like this. Make sure you negotiate this before you do your play. Make sure that you talk about this, and talk about it in depth. If the person that's being your top is not okay with giving aftercare, but you need aftercare, then obviously you don't want to talk to this person. Or even have someone else on standby for the aftercare. Just whichever one you feel comfortable with. Personally, I would say if they're not willing to give you aftercare when you need it, then they're not worth your time. But that's my opinion. With that said, there are some people out there that don't want it. That after a very intense scene, if you try to snuggle them, they're going to freak out. So make sure, as a dominant or as a top, that you're discussing with them. Do they need aftercare? Do they want it? Because if they don't, and you try to give it to them anyway, it could lead to some pretty nasty stuff. So there's your 4 topics right there, pretty much. You got get tested, have a safety net, safe words and limits, and aftercare. Pretty simple. Tell you what, if you guys think I forgot something, put it down in the comments before or below, down there somewhere, and maybe I'll do a part 2 on this. In the meantime, give this a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you really like this channel, because hey, this is going to be more straight up real talk coming to you whether you like it or not. So I'm going to keep going. If you guys want to come with me with the journey, then make sure you do. Without further ado, let me salute you guys. And just keep in remember, it's best to be safe, whether you're a kinkster or not. Be safe with your hookups, because that's what matters. And until next time, keep it real.